Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another tutorial. I haven't been here for a while because I didn't prepare anything like new to share with you all. So since then I have decided to take a look upon Debian 12, which I have installed. So this is my newest Debian 12 server that I have configured, and today I wanted to show how you can install apache2 and Joomla and using apache2. So because I had some requests from you guys to show you how to install the newest Joomla release on the newest Debian release, which is Bookworm. So this is what we are gonna do today. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start the install. First of all, of course, we need to install MariaDB, or you can install MySQL or Postgres, depending on what you want to choose at this time. And what do you want to host your credentials, users, and other data on? I'm using MariaDB. So this is the install. So I'm installing here apache2 and MariaDB server. And for this installation of Joomla, I'm going to use php8.2. So this is the newest one as of now, because we are waiting for 8.3 to come out. But for now, the newest one is 8.2, at least at the time when I'm doing this video. So now we're gonna install all the required modules. So this is how it looks. Okay, let's do it like that. Now clear the screen. So these are the modules that I'm gonna install right now. As you can see, I got like the Apache mod, PHP, MySQL, JSON, string, XML, GD, zip, curl, wget, and so on and so on. Of course, everything, as you can see, is PHP 8.2, so all of the modules are gonna be in the newest version. Configuration files, which are gonna be stored in php8.2. And there you go, we have like mods available, so all the modules that you can use and you can enable in PHP. Okay, so setup has been completed. Next step is going to be installing php8.2 FPM, which we are going to be using here. Okay, now we're going to restart the service. And of course now I'm going to do the secure installation of MySQL. Putting up my root password. No, no, yes, 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 yes. Okay, and there we go. Now we're gonna enter our MySQL. Of course, I'm using my root account here. Now it's time to create our database. So I'm just gonna create the base database for Joomla, which is just gonna be called Joomla. Since I have actually done this install previously, because if you have been on my channel for some time, then you probably saw my previous videos, at least some of them, and one of those videos was covering Joomla as well. So this is quite similar, although in this video I'm going to show different stuff that I haven't shown in the previous video. And of course this is Bookworm, this is not Bullseye edition of Debian. And we are working on the newest Joomla with php8.2. And if I remember correctly, the previous video was with php7.4, which is already old, and I think the support ran out or is gonna run out very soon. So we are creating a user called Joomla. Of course, you can create a different user if you want, identified by a password, just password. Nothing special here. Now we're gonna grant all the required privileges for the Joomla database to our Joomla user. And after that, we're gonna flush all the privileges and then exit from the MySQL. Okay, so we have actually installed apache2, we have installed MariaDB, we have configured our base database for Joomla. Next thing what we have to do, because we are using the newest version of MariaDB and the newest version of the Debian release, the Bookworm release, we need to go to MySQL configuration, because Joomla might not work quite well with MySQL 8. So you can try to skip this if you want. Yeah, you can try to skip this step if you want, but I would recommend to do it. Otherwise you might have some different strange things happening with your Joomla afterwards. So we're gonna put this here in our MySQL myCNF, so my config, MySQL config. After that, we're just gonna restart MySQL. And now it's time to download the newest Joomla release. Once again, bear in mind that I'm using now version 4.3.3 stable. If you want the newest release, you just need to go to https://downloadsjoomla.org, check what's the newest version, and just change it here. Then you can use wget to download the newest version. Since this is the newest one, I'm downloading this one. After that, we're gonna make a directory of var www html, which is gonna be called Joomla. And now we're gonna unpack everything. Sorry about that. I didn't specify the directory here. So I'm gonna unpack everything from this tar file to this directory, to the Joomla folder. Of course, after that we need to set the ownership of the folder, which is very important. This I'm setting it to www data. And of course we're gonna do chmod. So the modification, what kind of modifications can be done on this folder. These are the permissions that are gonna be set for this folder. Okay, so we have actually installed MySQL, configured MySQL, installed apache2, downloaded the newest Joomla release. Next step is gonna be configuring Apache with php-fpm. So since we have installed php8.2 with fpm, it's time to configure everything. So first of all, we're gonna disable the default Apache vhost configuration. I'm not gonna reload anything for now. Next, we're gonna disable any default preform modules for any existing PHP versions. So again, we are gonna disable. Next, we're gonna disable Apache prefork module. I recommend not to do the restart or reload at this point, because it's gonna be an error probably. Now we need to enable Apache event module. So I just have my notes here, so I'm copying and pasting everything. It's easier and faster. Okay, so we have enabled this, and now after all of that we can do restart. We can restart Apache, and there we go. You can check the status. Okay, after that we can enable php-fpm configuration. So I'm gonna now do enabling the configuration of php8.2 fpm. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna do, of course, restart again. If you of course need HTTP2 support, you can enable it as well. We're gonna do it as well because I'm gonna use it in my configuration file. So when we're gonna put everything together for the Joomla installation. So now I'm gonna enable the HTTP2, restart Apache once again. Okay, after all of this, we need to get to our php8.2 fpm php-ini configuration file. We're gonna specify some stuff regarding our fpm. So this is the main configuration file for php8.2. So first of all, I'm gonna change the maximum upload max file size, which I'm gonna change to 300 megs. I'm gonna now change post max size. Post max size, I'm gonna change it to, let's say, 48. Next we have memory limit. So memory limit, I'm gonna set this up as well. As you can see, default is 128. We're gonna choose 256. Of course, you can even give it like 512 if you want, depending on how much memory do you want to put in here. Okay, next thing we're gonna do max execution time, which we're gonna change here as well. Instead of 30, we're gonna do 600. Next, we're gonna change max input vars, which you need to enable here, and we're gonna do this for like 3000. and max input time. Max input time. Gonna change this to 1000. Let's save everything. Okay. After saving the configuration, of course, you need to restart the php-fpm. Next thing we're gonna install is apache2 mod, fcgit. Okay. apache2 invoke enable module fcgit, right? So after all of this, we're gonna create a self-signed certificate. Since I have my own domain name, so I'm gonna create a certificate here. As you can see, it's for 10 years. RSA key 2048, and we're creating self-signed key in etcSSL private, and of course certificate in etcSSL certificates. And the certificate is going to be created for my domain name. Okay, so I'm going to put it like that. Of course, if you don't have if you didn't buy a domain name or domain that you can actually use, then of course you can put your IP address here. Okay, so now I'm gonna change our directory to sites available, because here is gonna be the place that we are actually gonna put our configuration for Joomla. Now I'm gonna do ls. As you can see, we have the default configuration, the default SSL configuration, which I'm gonna be scratching because I don't want them here. No default configurations are needed. So I'm gonna throw out all of this. Okay, so now we can create our own configuration file. Right, so since I have prepared the whole configuration file, I'm just gonna paste it, and then afterwards I'm gonna just talk about it. Okay, so this is my config file. It starts with server name, of course, which you can see here. Then we have the virtual host, first virtual host, which is on port 80. We got the server name, we got the server alias, and we got, of course, the redirect. So basically this says that everything that goes to port 80 is going to be redirected to HTTPS immediately. And then we have another virtual host, which is our SSL 443. Here again we have the server name, server alias, then we have specified the protocol HTTP2, right? That's why we have installed it previously. The document root, so of course you have to specify where Joomla is, so in my case it's here. This is the main folder where I installed Joomla. Next we have SSL engine on, which is needed, of course, if you want to enable SSL for the virtual host, which I want to do. Next we have our certificate file, which I need to change because I was creating self-signed certificate. the name was apache2 self-sign, and it wasn't a PEM file, it was a CRT file. So next, so we are of course giving it the key. If you have the chain as well, you can input the chain, because as you can see here, you got here a chain file. So if you have the certificate, the key, and the chain, you can also put the chain here. Then you got client authentication, client certificate verification type and depth. Types are none, optional, required, and optional no CA. Depth is number, which specifies how deeply to verify the certificate issue or chain before deciding the certificate is not valid. So I don't have the chain here. I'm only using my certificate and key. So I'm not gonna enable those options. I'm not gonna enable the verify client and verify depth. But if you have the chain, you can also use those two options as well. Okay, next, of course, we got our directory, which is HTML Joomla. We got here some options for indexing. We got our logs, error logs, which I'm gonna change, and I'm gonna call them Joomla. And this is basically it for now. Save everything. Okay, so since we have created our basic configuration file for Joomla, now we're gonna enable this configuration file, and we need to of course enable SSL module. Now we can restart our Apache, and we can run a config test on Apache to see if the syntax is okay. You can see everything is fine. We can check the status as well. And there we go. Okay, so basically at this point we already have our Apache host configured. So I should be able to actually go to my my name that I have specified for the website and open the installation, the install of Joomla. But before that, we're just gonna dive into some security, which I also wanted to talk about. So first of all, let's actually change the directory, and we're gonna create here in the apache2 conf available, we're gonna create SSL parameters. As you remember, we have scratched the default SSL configuration files, so now we're gonna create our own configuration for SSL. And here, of course, I'm gonna add some parameters. So here are the parameters that I have added. So we got like SSL cipher suite. There's like a lot of ciphers here, as you can see. Quite a lot. Of course, you can find them on the internet easily. We have like SSL protocol. I specified all the protocols from SSL version 2, 3, TLS version 1, and 1.1. Of course, you can choose whichever you wish. If you wish to scratch those two, you can always do that. We got SSL honor cipher order, it's on. Session tickets is off, and of course headers. We're not gonna use any headers here because we're gonna prepare the headers later on. So for now, we're just gonna put here some SSL stuff. SSL compression and session tickets again. So maybe we're just gonna put it like that because we had a repeat. Okay, so this is like the basic parameter configuration. Of course, you can extend it. You can just look online for some additions for those parameters if you would like to. This is the basic stuff. Okay, so next stuff, what we're gonna enable? We're gonna enable now headers. Why? Because we're also gonna use headers in our configuration. We're gonna enable SSL parameters, which we have configured in our file. We're gonna, of course, now reload everything, or maybe even better to restart it. So restart, and now we're gonna do a config test. Okay. Right, so at this point we can go to our website and we can try to log in here. Let's see. Okay, so I guess my Bitdefender is preventing me from going here because it says that my certificate is not valid. Okay, so let's check. So we have. So if we go on IP address, we're gonna be able to open it, but not on the domain name. Okay, so probably I would need to change some stuff. Probably need to change some stuff in my domain. Maybe specify the A record a little bit differently, or maybe the PTR record or something like that. I will need to check. Since I don't want to waste any time on this, we're just gonna go forward with everything because this is just a minor thing, setting up your domain name, not a big issue. Okay, so we got the Joomla installer here, of course. So next thing we want to do, let's go back here, and now let's check some more security things that we can actually enable on our Apache. So we can also disable server signatures, which is quite important actually. So let's go to our Apache2 configuration file. Okay, we're gonna go at the end of the file. Here at the end of the file, you can add 2 more lines. Which are gonna be as follows. So we have like server signature off and server tokens on prod, set on prod. Okay, we're gonna save this. Next, we're gonna disable server directory listing. So the directory listings display all the content saved in the root folder or the sub-directories. The directory files can include sensitive information not intended for public display, such as PHP scripts, configuration files, files containing passwords, logs, etc. To disallow directory listing, change the Apache server configuration file by editing the apache2 configuration file. So of course we need to go again to our configuration file here, and we're gonna look for the directory listing, which is gonna be called, there we go, directory of www. This is the one that we are gonna be looking for, and we are gonna change this. I'm gonna actually delete all of this, and we're gonna only change for options, indexes. Gonna save. Okay, so next we're gonna protect system settings. So the htaccess file is a convenient and powerful feature that allows configuration outside the main Apache2 configuration file. However, in cases where a user can upload files to the server, this can be exploited by an attacker to upload his or her own htaccess file with malicious configurations. So if you are not using this feature, you can disable the htaccess directive, which we are gonna do now. So again, we are gonna go to configuration, and we're gonna look for access file name. So let's look for access file name. As you can see, it's enabled, and we're gonna disable this by putting the dash here. Save. Okay, run necessary modules. So as I have said before, when you install Apache, you install quite a lot of different modules that you can enable if you wish. The default Apache configuration includes enabled modules that you may not even need. These pre-installed modules open doors for Apache security issues that either already exist or can exist in the future. To disable all these modules, you first need to understand which modules are required for the smooth functioning of your web server. For this purpose, check out the Apache module documentation that covers all the available modules. So let's see, we can list all the modules that we actually have. So these are all our enabled modules, so the modules that you have on the default enabled when doing all the configuration. So as you can see, we have the aliases, authentication modules, auto-index modules, directory modules, FCG modules, HTTP2 headers, of course, filters, MIME, negotiation proxy, set nvfix, SSL, of course, status. So these are the basic modules that we have enabled. So I have also looked online for some info about which modules you should actually leave enabled and which ones you should scratch, and I have come upon a list of modules that are suggested to be left alone enabled. So we're just gonna paste them here. So basically, maybe I'm just gonna do it a bit differently. So as you can see, these are the modules that are suggested to be left alone enabled. So if you have those modules, you can leave them be. Of course, we can disable the modules because Apache comes with a powerful A2 disabled mod command to disable the modules. It prevents loading the module and prompts you with a warning when disabling the module that the action can negatively impact your server. So, if you want to disable any modules, you can always use this syntax: sudo a2 disabled module and the module name that you want to disable. Okay, the next thing that we want to configure on our Apache is preventing slow lorries and DDoS attack. The default installation of an Apache server forces it to wait for requests from clients for too long, which subjects the server to slow lorries and DDoS attacks. The Apache2 configuration file provides a directive that you can use to lower the time value to a few seconds to prevent these types of attacks. So we need to open our configuration file. And here we're gonna look for timeout. We're gonna change the timeout from 300 to 60. And save the config, of course. Okay, so these are the basic steps that we have took here, just to prevent some unwilling attacks or other things that might happen to our website. And once again, these are the basic things when you're using and creating a Apache configuration file and putting everything together. Remember about that. I'm just gonna, after all of this config, I wanted to restart on the website. As you can see, everything here is okay. Sage, something like this. Okay, user, super user, and so on and so on. Okay. So next thing that we would like to configure here, steps to install mod evasive Apache utility. So one of the ways to scratch DDoS attacks and prevent from those attacks to even happen to you, or just protect yourself, is actually the mod evasive Apache utility. So we're gonna install mod evasive. So I'm gonna do apt install with apache2 mod evasive. And after that, we're gonna create a configuration file. So we're gonna create an Apache2 mods enabled, of course, because we are enabling this configuration mode. This is how it looks. This is mod evasive, and these are the options that you need to enable. One more thing that you can add in this configuration file, of course, if you want to be want to have an email notification when something happens, you can put your email here and enable this as well. Okay, so I'm gonna input here like 2 more things. We're gonna do whitelisting, so we're gonna whitelist IP addresses. So of course, you can whitelist the whole subnet, or you can whitelist just the IP address that you want actually to be allowed. Apache. Alright, so let's check our website if everything works fine. And now let's go back to our Apache configuration file. We're gonna go to our directory somewhere around here, and we are gonna add okay. So protect server files by default. I'm gonna say it again. Now what we're gonna do, we are gonna disable server tokens. This is another security measure that you can take. So we're gonna go to php8.2 conf available security configuration, and here we're gonna first of all server signature, and this should be off, of course, although we have actually specified this previously in our apache2 configuration. I'm gonna enable it here as well. I'm gonna disable this. I'm just gonna add here so we are basically adding here and the security configuration file, those two things that we have added previously in the config of Apache2. So server tokens and server signature is off, right? So now we can reload Apache. Although instead of reloading, I always restart the service. Okay, so now what we can do, we can of course restrict the access by IP address, of course, to our website. So we can of course do it on our configuration file. So we're gonna go to var and sorry, it should be here at Apache2 sites. Sites available, it should be. Okay, so here's our configuration file. We're gonna add another directive here at the end of the file, which is gonna be just let's call it IP restriction. And it's gonna look something like this. So I have added my own IP address and of course the subnet, although I could only add my IP address. Okay, so now we can actually restart again Apache. Now it's time to go to some header security. So we're gonna do some header security. We're gonna open our Joomla configuration file. Let's go at the end. add some headers, sec, so header security, and these are the headers that I'm adding here. You can of course find those headers online as well if you want to use them. Save it, restart Apache again. Let's go to our site, Joomla. Okay, let's choose root. I'm gonna just choose root. Okay. Oh, we need to meet the requirements. Okay, so at least 12. Okay. And entering email address. Okay, so kind of bogus email address. So now we have, of course, the database. So we need the username and the password for the database that we have created. Of course, if you remember, it was JoomlaDB. The password was just password, and of course the user was Joomla. And okay, this is why I wanted to go through all the configuration, so to show you, because as you can see, it shouldn't be like this. Why? Because we have configured some headers. So now we're gonna go to our config file. Let's open the configuration file and let's check which header is causing the problem. So let's check which one is it. So this one. Let's check this one. Okay. Maybe let's check. No sniff. Let's check this one. Nope. Okay. Let's do now maybe here. Yeah. So as you can see, and this is the unfortunate header that was causing the problems. We can leave the rest on. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we got our Joomla, of course, with the newest PHP. Can check the system here. Oh, thanks. I said before, don't worry about this. It's just I misfucked probably the configuration on my domain. That's why it didn't catch the domain name. Okay, next thing. That we would like to actually configure, we're gonna go to our main configuration file. Okay, and now let's go at the end of this file. I'm gonna add some more things that are gonna be useful to us. So first of all, we're gonna do a redirection for the favicon icon, and the block we're gonna block robots.txt. So we're gonna save this. Next we're gonna go to robots.txt. Okay. User agent has been set. We're gonna do disallow. So that's fine. We're gonna change the ownership. And we're gonna change ch1. Okay. Okay, so now let's check. Gonna go to apache2 configuration file. I'm gonna use loop for alias. If we have any here. Oh, we don't, so we're gonna add one. At the end, we'll need to add an alias. It's gonna look like this. So this line tells Apache that if any requests for robots.txt are made, then forward the file var ww robots.txt. Okay. Now we're gonna reload everything. Okay. I'm gonna go here. Let's check what we got here. I'm gonna open this. see everything works as it should. So if we go to robots.txt, it's forbidden. You don't have permission to access the resource. So everything is blocked how it should be. Fine. And this is what we needed to do. Okay, so let's check what's next in my schedule here. So we have done some securing of our Apache. Like I said, basic security. And now I wanted to show you some performance optimizations. So if you want to use your php-fpm to optimize your Apache to work faster and better, you can always use this method that I'm gonna show you. So first of all, you need to pre-calculate average memory usage and max clients and max children. What I'm talking about here, well, in a moment I'm gonna show you. So first, what we're gonna need to do, we're gonna download a specific Python script. And I'm gonna just change it so I can execute this Python script. You can get it from here. And now we're gonna use Python to run the script. So what the script actually does, it shows how many services are running on specifics maybe I should say it differently, how many daemons are running on specific servers, on specific services. So we have like 4 different daemons running on Apache2 right now using it, and we have 3 daemons using the php-fpm 8.2, right? And this is the whole calculation. So those 3 daemons are using 60 megs. So each daemon, if you divide it by 3, of course, then each daemon is using 20 megs. The same goes here. In total, those 4 daemons are using 24 megs. So if you divide it by 4, then it's like 5 point something megabytes are being used here, right? 5 point something. Of course, if you want to calculate it like very precisely, so you won't have any problems with changing the configuration that I'm going to show you in a moment. There is another thing that you should also have for those calculations. I have an Apache performance calculator here. So it looks something like this. Okay, maybe I'm gonna fit it in here so I can actually show it. Okay, so this is the performance calculator, and here we have the number of processes, right? So we need to go, of course, here and check how many processes are, I call them daemons, so processes. How many processes are running on Apache and how many are running on php-fpm. So I got 3, 4 and 3 right now. So you need to input here 4 for Apache at my case and 3 here and the overall calculations are done. So process size in megabytes, we have here 26, and here process in megabytes, we have 112, because you also need to change the memory, right? So in total we have, like, for Apache2 we have 24 megs, and for PHP we got 60 megs. So like 24 megabytes, and we got 60 megabytes. And this is the default process size, so 6 megabytes per process and 20 megabytes per process for php-fpm and for Apache. Okay, here we're gonna have things that you will input regarding the configuration. So let's open the configuration file now, because we have done the calculations that we need for our improved performance. So we're gonna go to apache2 was enabled and npm event configuration file. Okay, let's check. Just gonna go to okay. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the right track here. So let's check once again what's enabled. I'm gonna go here and let's check if we have npm event. Do we have npm event? Yeah, we got it here. Okay. There you go. This is what I was looking for actually. So we need to go to Apache2 was enabled. We need to open the npm event configuration file. So this is the basic thing that you're gonna change here. So this is like a short help. So start servers, initial number of server processes to start. So this is the number of your processors that you can input here depending on how many processors you will have on the server. Let's say I want to change it to 4 because I have 4 on the server, so I can use 4 processors. And we can check here, so we got like 4 processors, right? CPU cores or CPU cores. And for if you choose this configuration, you need to input those precise things for those specific parameters. So if we choose like 4 cores, CPU cores, we need to now find this. Let's check it out like that. So we got 4 cores, and let's check. Oh, sorry, using megabytes. Okay, right. So we need to go to server capacity, and we're gonna change max request workers. So this is the volume. So we got max request workers here. We need to change that as well. Then max clients. Max children thread. Okay, limit. Oh, sorry. This is gonna be the Apache setting. Sorry about that. I haven't read it. So max request workers is in the Apache config setting, because now we are in the npm event config settings. So we can only change max request workers here, and in a moment we're gonna go to php-fpm settings, the config file, and there we're gonna change the max clients to this. Okay, so we have like here npm event conf, and here we got the www.conf, which is for the php-fpm, and this is for Apache. So now we need to change server limit. So the server limit should be 2458. Let's see. Okay. Start servers. Start servers, we have like 4. Okay, so we need to add here server limit. I'm gonna change it to this. Okay, according to this spreadsheet. Now max request workers should be also this, and we got max request workers and this. Okay, fine. So this is it for this configuration file. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually open another configuration file. Which is located in php8.2 fpm pool.dww.conf. And here we need to find max clients. Okay, so we got like pmx children, start server. Let's check here. Okay. Max listen query. So let's open it once again. We got like pmx children. Okay, so we need to find this in here. pmx children. once again, and we got set it of here 5, so we need to change this for 687. And now we need to find PM start servers. We need to change this from 2 to 16. Next we have minimum spare servers, which is 8. And again max spare servers 16. Okay, so this is it. We have all the data. I'm gonna save it. You can turn off the calculations. Now we can actually restart Apache, and you can restart FPM. Okay, so if it goes to optimizing your PHP and Apache, we have changed the number of CPUs from 2 to 4. We have also changed some things to speed up your web server. Of course, it all depends on what kind of configuration you have on your server and how many CPU cores you have, how many memory you have. So I'm gonna include this XLS that I have here under my video, so you can actually download it and use it for your own calculations. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to show is a thing called software called dbeaver. So quite a handy software actually. It's the community edition. It's free, you can download it online. It's a very handy tool if it goes to MySQL. I'm just gonna wait until it actually loads. Okay, so no, we're not gonna create any sample databases. I'm gonna just do not send. So how does it look? Maybe you have used it before. If you didn't, then I suggest you start using it because it's quite fun. So you can add a database here. Of course, we are using MariaDB database here in our Joomla. So you can choose here server host, like localhost, right? The database, it was Joomla_db, and of course what was the username and the password here. So okay, let's check drive settings, libraries, update. You can always update the libraries. There we go. It's updating on its own. Nice. Product version 8.0. Okay, so the default user is root. Default database It's Joomla DB. Okay. And now I'm gonna go to SSH, use SSH. What's the host IP address? So of course we need to input the address of our server here. What is the username? Well, I'm gonna input my root credentials here for the server. Let's check the tool configuration. And it's connected, so everything is fine. Here, the database authentication, I have inputted my root and password for the server. And we're gonna check test connection. Let's check. So access is denied, so let's check, of course, Joomla, because that's the username. And the default password for my MariaDB database was password. And the user that has had privileges with Joomla. And it connected. Okay, so this is fine. Now we can press finish, and there you go. You're connected to your Joomla database. You can view tables, procedures. There's a problem here with users because it doesn't have enough privileges, of course. As you can see, command denied to user Joomla. So, if you would like to work with your Joomla DB instance or MariaDB instance, in this case, you can always use dbeaver. It's really easy to use and quite nice, I think. Okay, so that was an additional perk. Let's open our server once again. So after all of this mess that we have configured, let's check if our website actually exists and it works. It does, everything is fine. I was just logged out. Okay, so this is almost everything that I wanted to talk about and show you. So we have configured the security, we have done the performance enhancement, and one more thing that I wanted to show you is, of course, fail to ban, because if you have your own website, you should also use fail to ban. So let's install fail to ban. Okay, so if you're web hosting, just remember to create your own jails. So we're gonna create our jails, local jails in etc fail to ban. And here are some jails, like default ones that I have created. I'm just gonna paste them here. You can always use them if you wish. This is the basic configuration for fail to ban. So we got here detect potential, search for exploits and PHP vulnerabilities. So no script. We detect Apache overflow attempts. Detect failures to find a directory on a server. We got bad bots. We got open. We got bot search. Okay, so now we're gonna just do I'm gonna restart fail to ban. status fail to ban MySQL Apache. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so fail to ban failed. So MariaDB is fine, Apache is fine. So we had some issue here. I'm gonna restart fail to ban and I'm gonna do status again. Let's check. So we have alright in the configuration, I haven't found log file for sshd-jail. Alright. So probably in the configuration file we haven't specified something. Right, because we should like specify, because we have like var log Apache, error log, got here access log, error logs, log path, Apache access log. Yeah, so you gotta check those log paths, because if they are bogus or something is not right, then your fail to ban is gonna do this kind of stuff to you, unfortunately. Well, but overall, this is the things that you can use if you want to secure your Apache. Well, for all the people that wanted to see how you can configure your newest Joomla release on newest Debian server release, this is how you can do it, with securing, with improved performance, and a little bit of tweak here and there. I hope you liked the video. As always, like, subscribe, and I think I will probably see you soon, because I have another video coming about web hosting as well. So until then.